Yes, guys, welcome to Thfc to retire home at Tottenham past, present, and an exciting future, of course, on the Roberto De Zerbi. Tonight was all about Romero. But, as we know, things move fast in football. It never lays still. It's always something happening. And, of course, we've got a couple of, outgoing bombers today because Djed Spence heading to Inter Milan and Cristian Romero heading to Atletico Madrid. But the point of this video was to speak about Romero and to give you my thoughts on the player that has been at our club for the past couple of years and what I really think of him and the good, the bad, and the frustration. So, this is what this show's all about, guys. If you can, hit a like, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future shows coming. Of course, tomorrow it's podcast day. We've got the Fans Perspective podcast at 5. And then I think on Friday, the Irish Lads Talk Spurs podcast is back. And of course, all your build up to the Hoffenheim games over the weekend. So let's welcome you in. And we are going to start off with the breaking transfer news as well. Big up Spurside chat. I am glad that Deadwood is moving. Spencer Romero. Cheers. Thank you, Spurside chat. Really appreciate that as well. Where are we starting? We are starting with, let's start here. It is, of course, Djed Spence to Inter. Here we go. This came this afternoon. A verbal agreement in place now with Tottenham for the England white ring back. Transfer fee worth around 31.5 million euro, which works out to be, I think, about 29 million quid. Full agreement also with Spence, who wanted to move. And I think also that is important. As much as I didn't want Spence to go, I think this is a good move for him. He's going to want first team football. He's going to want to play more regularly. And De Zerbi can't offer him that this year. We've only got one game a week plus cup games. And are you really going to wait around a year and hope we get into Europe and stomp your momentum, stop your growth? Actually, now you're a full-time international. You want minutes. You want to play to keep your mind within the England manager's thoughts. So you get picked for every England camp, either European or the World Cup, and especially with the European Championships coming up. Or the Nations League and the European Championships coming up in the next couple of years, you want to play regularly, and he wasn't going to get that at Tottenham. Do I think we could have got more for him? Yes, I think we could have got 40 million for him, but look, it is what it is. It's all about getting money in, refurbish the transfer pot and moving on and getting better players into the club. And this is what it is. Same as Romero. Could we have got more for Romero? Yes, we could have got more for Cristian Romero. He's not a 40 million pound player. He's a 50, 60 million pound player. So for me, is it disappointing that we're selling these players at a lower price? Yes. But on the flip side of that, it is good to get these players out of the football club as well, who don't really want to be here. They'd rather be somewhere else. And I think it was just we'll take what we can get, we'll make a loss, and we'll move on. They're out of the football club. De Zerbi didn't want them here. And it's all about what De Zerbi wants. If he doesn't want them here, then out they go. With Djed Spence, there's a little bit of probably regret for me and a little bit of sadness that he's moving on. With Cristian Romero, I'm glad he's gone. And the argument around Romero, there's two sides to an argument, which I'm going to address both tonight. So that is the crack. Big up to Danny. Big up to Spurs for the 67 jewels. Big up to Daniel. Big up, Danny. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man. He says, goodbye, you mug Romero. Do you know what? There is that way of it, but I'm going to go from both sides tonight, Daniel. So I see what you think, bud. Big up Spurs size chat as well for all the jewels as well. Thank you so much. A lot of jewels in tonight. Big up to you. So that was the first one. Then tonight we got the breaking news, of course, from Fabrizio again. Atletico Madrid have agreed a deal in principle with Spurs to sign Cristian Romero. The package is in the region of 34.2 million quid, which is 40 million euro, with add-ons and a 50% sell-on clause. It's also included. 15% is not bad, actually, to be fair, but do you know what? I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. And, he's probably one of the few Spurs captains I think I'm glad to see the back of, which in a way is quite a harsh thing to say to him, to be honest. But look, I want to start it with this. So I did write notes for this actually for tonight. So let me start off. So look, he is a brilliant defender, but talent alone isn't enough. On his day, Romero can be the best centre backs around, but Spurs need consistency, leadership, and discipline, as well as quality. Did he ever truly see Spurs as his long-term home? And the answer to that is probably no. I don't think he did see us as his. I think he saw us as a stepping stone to the next team, to the next milestone in his career. And hang on, let me get my notes up again. So to be fair, I don't think he did. I think he saw us as a place for a couple of years, gain more football experience, and then move on to the bigger teams. He made no bones about it. He wanted to play in La Liga. He said that in an interview. We know last season with all these antics what he got up to as well. Look, the end of the season, I think that was blown out of all proportion. I think he was back in Argentina getting ready for the World Cup. And I think somebody said, look, he'd rather go to his first club's game to see them win the title than come to Spurs. And I think I do feel that was sort of blown out of all proportion. And then you had De Zerbi saying there's two types of captain. There's the Romero and there's Ben Davies, who injured but stayed in the hotel with the players and did his bit. And I do feel that Romero did himself no favours as well. So look, that's my first thought on it. So I'm big up again, Spurs Side Chat, for the jewels as well. Thank you so much. So hang on, let me get, every time it just goes off. Now, the next sort of question I asked myself was, did we ever truly see, was action matters more than badge kissing? And that's the thing, isn't it? We all expect our captain to lead by example, to go out there and lead the team by example and lead the team by the way that it means to be a Tottenham Hotspur captain. But we judge players on what they do in difficult moments. Was Romero always there when Spurs needed their senior players the most? Yes and no. He was there for games like Newcastle. He was there for games like, what was the other game? Burnley. But he wasn't there he came off Sunderland. He missed certain games that he missed the running. Where was he? And to me, I got this love-hate relationship with Romero. There's times you were following him into the trenches and there's times you think, yeah, that's what it's all about. And there's other times where, no, he didn't give a shit. He thought about himself. He thought about Argentina more. He thought about us. And to be fair, I think Romero's biggest, problem was, I think he did think more of his country than the club. And maybe that's an Argentinian thing. Maybe that's South American footballers in general. But you never saw Romero doing that. You never saw Mora doing that either. Their first thing was Tottenham, second was Brazil. Maybe Argentinian footballs are different to that. But I've never seen Messi in all the years he's played football put country before club. Any time he played for Barcelona or played for PSG or he's played for Inter Miami, he's always given 110%. With Romero, there's always certain games we thought, coming up to an international break, I'm injured, or suddenly he gets suspended. Now, I'm not saying he was doing this deliberately, but there was always something. Coming up to an international break, there was always something. And I just don't know. I think it's a good move all around. Now, you look at his disciplinary, has repeatedly been an issue. Aggressive defending is part of what makes Romero good. Yes, it does. But needless cards, reckless challenges or suspensions can leave the team exposed. And if you look at even last season, how many times he got sent off, how many times he he got suspended or things like that, that left us exposed at times with not better defenses, especially going through the injury crisis we were going through. And I just wondered, I just wondered again, was his full commitment with us? And I don't think it was. I really don't think it was. Of course, also there was a constant transfer speculation, especially a whole of last season. Even the rumour isn't true. Repeated stories about wanting Madrid, Atletico Madrid, or Serie A, or another major club can eventually make supporters question the player's commitment. And I think that was very true with Romero, especially last summer, where we knew there was links with him. And again, he stated to South American media his dream was to play in La Liga. His dream was to play with Atletico Madrid. And eventually it happened, didn't it? Eventually this summer he got his way. He got himself a new contract last summer, plus the captaincy. There you go, Romero. There's the captaincy and there's a new contract. But even that wasn't good enough. And I just feel he's done himself no favours. And I don't think he's done himself any favours with half the fan base as well, because I don't see this as the same as Harry Kane leaving the football club. Harry Kane is more of a legend than Romero ever will. Harry Kane gave everything for Tottenham. Romero, there was always that question. Did he give full 110%? And some games he did, some games he didn't. Did his reputation go ahead of him? Yes, it did. His reputation probably did cause him problems. His reputation did cause issues with certain referees that didn't like his aggressive style, that didn't like his, I don't know, over-exuberance, if you know what I mean. That. And there was games where he came out, and I've said it on watch-alongs as well, he just didn't look interested. There was games last season, and I said it on watch-alongs. If you don't believe me, there were certain watch-alongs. Go into the playlist when he's playing, and I've questioned him. Does he look interested? Does he want to be here? And again, there was incidents. You look at Wolves a couple of years ago under Ange, walked straight down the tunnel after we lost that game. There was games last season he just didn't go over and appreciate the fans. And I know there was a lot of disconnect between us and the players, and the Porro's comments and Van der Ven wanted to argue with fans. I get that. But as a captain, you have to lead by example. You have to go out there and say, look, this is not acceptable. We're not doing our part. The fans are turning up every home game, every away game. And, we've got to do our part. He did that one interview, didn't he? And he just looked like he couldn't be bothered to be there. He didn't want to do it. So I get De Zerbi when he said for the Everton game, there's two types of captain. Yes, there is. There's different types of captain. But all captains should do the same thing. They should lead by example and lead the dressing room by example. And he was a senior player within that dressing room. He was a player that played in the squad that finished 17th twice. He's forever going to be linked with a squad that nearly got relegated. Yes, we won the Europa League within that 217 places, but that is very quickly diminished winning that trophy, because if he had finished 17th, won the Europa League, and then last season built on that and say qualified for the Champions League and then got his move, then I don't think that a lot of people would have had their problems with him. And he put in a good season last season, led by example, and everything's rosy. Good luck, fair play, see you later. But there was issues after issues after issues, calling out the board. And I think that was the thing. You go back through different captains during the years at Tottenham. What does the captaincy mean? It means anything. That captaincy is honour. You put on that armband and you walk out, you're leading that Spurs team out, like many captains before you, Gary Mabbott, Steve Perryman, Danny Blanchflower, and players like that, led them Spurs teams out of the tunnel in any stadium around the world. And you do it with pride, you do it with expectation, you do it with with honour, and you do it with a privilege that you are one of very few players that have worn that armband and was the club captain. That, it meant, I don't know if it meant anything to him. it's all right saying these words, oh, it means everything, and yes, it's my dream. You look at Sonny. Has Sonny cherished that armband? You look at Harry Kane, the same, cherished their armband. Look at Ledley King. You look at Graham Roberts. You look at Steve Perriman. They all led that Tottenham sides they were in with honour. There was none of that with Romero. It was always, and this is not me digging him. This is just how I feel about him. So you may have a different opinion on what I'm saying. And if you do, I'd gladly hear it and gladly talk about it. But I just don't think Romero was a captain that would inspire me to give 110%. And we saw that in the relegation battle we had last year. For me, he wasn't the captain we needed. Look at Mickey van der Ven in the last few games when he was captain, went round to the players, trying to dig them up. Come on, we can do this. We can get a better result. That is the captain you need. You need that Graham Roberts, that Steve Perriman type captain that's going to go in that dressing room, pin them players up against the wall and say, you are going to do this for the club. Roy Keane as well. Roy Keane was a captain that led by example. But he also made damn sure you were going to follow him. And if you didn't put up your socks, he was also going to call you out. There was none of that with Romero. Now, did he do that in the dressing room? We don't know. But for me, I just feel that there was a lot of ers. Big up to Sniper Dream 26. Say, "Hi mate, got my new Tottenham history book. Oh, I must get that." 88-2 the club formed, 88-3 start. Yeah, I've read that. That's been going around. It is quite funny. So we sold Romero and Spence to pay for Savini and the winger target. Who are we going to sell now to pay for our striker? Same Enoch, nothing changes. Well, Marie, we have to wait and see. But I do get your point. I'm beginning to feel that way myself as well, if I'm being honest. But look, we have to see what happens. But no, I think you do make valid points, Marie. You really do. And look, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow and probably Friday show as well. Go more into that. And Sunday, when Billy's back, me and Billy are going to have a big discussion, and James as well, about it's like going in from, what's the saying? Sorry. You're going from winter to spring. Go in, you come in like a lion and go out like a lamb. And I think that's the way where our transfer market's going at the moment. Unless there's a couple of bombers we don't know about, we have to wait and see. Big up Dermo. Sorry I'm late, but my daughter had some issues I had to deal with. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late as well. I have family issues here to deal with. So all okay now. That's why I'm on so late as well. So we're both late, Marco, but great seeing you in the chat. And yeah, Snipers, you stopped that. Yeah, I know. I've got that from a few others, to be fair. Yeah, got that. It's a good joke. I like it. I do like it. Right. Now, if you are a Romero fan, now, David Clark put something in yesterday, and it got me thinking. So I put it into quotes, into what when I was writing the script for this. I don't normally write scripts for shows. I just go off how I feel. But I wanted to come across exactly how I feel. That's why I wrote myself this down. And something that I don't normally do. Maybe I might do it for other shows like this, but I just feel that I had to get it down right. And when David Clark said last night, nobody should be bigger than Tottenham Hotspur, he had a point. But however a good player is, if his heart isn't fully in it, the club should move forward. But to give Romero his credit, he has produced some astounding performances, played with passion, and often looked like one of the few players willing to fight. My argument, or anybody's argument, doesn't have to be that he was a bad player. Just being a great defender and being fully committed to Spurs are two different things. The biggest question should be, will Spurs actually become stronger by replacing a world-class individual with someone who's completely committed to the team? And I think that's the point. No matter what we think of Romero, he is a world-class player. He is a World Cup winner for his country. He has won a Europa League with us. He has got us out of trouble last. When he first come, we all fell in love with him, as Marco said. But it's there, isn't it? I wrote down here, just being a great defender and being fully committed to Spurs are two different things. And they are two different things. You can be a great defender and not fully committed to what's going on around you. Or you could be a great channel host but not be fully committed to the channel. Or you can be, like myself, very not the greatest host in the world. I do my best, I make mistakes, but I'm fully committed to the channel. Do you know what I mean? It's two different things. And I think that is the biggest question with Romero. What was he? Was he just a world-class individual with great talent? Or was he a world-class defender who was fully committed to the ideals of Tottenham Hotspur? And I don't think he was. I think it's more the former than the latter. And again, you keep going back to it, don't you? Anytime there was an international break, something came up. And look, we can look back at Romero and we can paint out games where he was absolutely fantastic. But you can pick out a lot of games where Romero was the problem. I suppose you could say Mickey van der Ven as well. You could say the same about Djed Spence. I will go on and talk about Djed Spence. And a lot of these quotes or a lot of these, what I've written down, could probably go to Djed Spence as well. I just think if you were to sum up Romero, I think in my thoughts completely, wrap it up in a bow, put it into a present and give it to him. I think you can say that Romero was a leader of men, but not a leader of Tottenham. And I don't know if anyone would get that, but that's just how I feel. I just think he was a leader of... I think he led... He'd be a leader of men, a little bit like Roy Keane. But he was never the leader we needed at Tottenham Hotspur. He was never the leader we needed in the dressing room. And I think that was the problem. I think when the going got tough, he never got going. And as sad as that for me to say, I think when you look at other players, you look at Archie Gray, you look at Bergville, you look at even Xavi, players that wanted to stay on the field, even being injured, for the cause, for the badge, for the shirt. I'm not going to be part of this squad who's going to be the first team in, I don't know, 50 years to go down. But I don't think that would have, if we did get relegated, Romero would have been the first one out of the club. I'm not staying here. I'm not going to play in the Championship. I'm not going to... I mean, you look at J.R. Bowen at West Ham. Now, we don't... he's staying with West Ham. He quite could have easily gone to another Premier League club. Maybe Danny Dyer might have told his wife to leave him, but that's the point. He was captain of West Ham. He said, right, I was part of the problem of taking us down. I'm going to be the solution of taking us up. And I don't think he would have got that Romero. Mickey van der Ven, I think he would have done. I think Mickey would have stayed unless an unbelievable offer came in. But Romero, I don't think I would have got that. And I just don't think his heart was at Tottenham. I think his heart was always somewhere else. So look, if I could wrap this up, right, on the Romero bit, and look, if I was doing this as a debate, and I was saying, right, can you give us your closing lines for your segment or your debate, and I would have written, I wrote this down late last night, and It took me a long time to come to this, but I was sitting there, and no word of a lie, I was playing James Bond on my PS5, and this came into my head, and I had to write it down. It was Cristian Romero might have worn the Spurs shirt with passion, but for me, there was always been a difference between fighting in the shirt and truly having Tottenham in your heart. If you don't want to be a part of where the club is going, then thank you for what you've done. But Tottenham moves on, and Tottenham will always move on. Cristian Romero will always be part of a history of Spurs where we've had two worst Premier League seasons in the history, but also part of the first team to win a European trophy since 1984. So, it's really is a split with Romero, isn't it? On one side, he was part of us nearly getting relegated. On the other hand, he was part of a team that gave us the greatest night of our lives and our first European trophy in over 40 years. And also, the great, as I said, the greatest night of our lives. One thing that I'm going to finish with the Romero bit is I was always prepared to give Romero the benefit of the doubt. Even with him moving, I've always said, do you know what? I can forget all the bad stuff. I'm just going to remember the good times. Thank you for what you've done and move on. That changed. That changed a couple of days ago when his team instigated a move that he would have been quite happy to move to Arsenal. Now, this is not a Sol Campbell thing, where Sol Campbell did it on a free transfer, but it's just as bad. It is just as bad. And I think that showed what he really thought of the football club. I think that showed what he really thought of us as fans. And it really showed what he thought of the captaincy. He didn't give a shit. He didn't care. It was all about, I want what's right for me. And maybe as footballers, you do have to be a little bit more probably selfish is a way, but this is not selfish. This is just sticking two fingers up to the club that's paid your wages over the last 3-4 years, and you're saying, sod you, I'm doing what I want. And Tottenham said, you're not going. We're not selling you there. Even though you've instigated it, even though you've done this, you're going where we're telling you to go. And he's manoeuvred all this around so he can get his move to Atletico Madrid. And this has all been, we've been a stepping stone for Cristian Romero. And do you know what? Good. I'm glad he's gone. I am glad he's gone. And any part of me that was going to, do you know what? Let bygones be bygones. No. I never want to see him back at my football club again. As a guest, as he has to come back if we play Atletico Madrid. And I hope he has a crap game. And I hope he scores loads of own goals. And I hope he gets sent off within 5 minutes. Because if you look at Mickey van der Ven, if you look at other players that have done it, you look at Djed Spence, who's done it the right way. He didn't cause any issues. He's went to deserve it. Look, I want to play full time for X, Y reasons. And that's right. He's done it the right way. And do you know what? I'm sorry Djed Spence has gone. I wish him all the very best at Inter Milan. I'm sure he's going to absolutely kill it there. And do you know what? For the price we got with him, I think we could have done more, but that's no here, no there. But Romero, thank God, because he was the problem in the dressing room. He was the one that said them, that led the, yeah, I am too, Iceman, to be fair. And I think you're right on that. And I will get to your comments in a minute, guys. I think Romero was one of the issues why we suffered in the Premier League, because he didn't care. And a lot of people won't agree with me with that. A lot of people will say, nah, Dermo, you're talking shite, Romero's this, Romero's that. Look, I've given you both sides of an argument. I mean, there is something here. I just want to put this in. And I did. It was about leadership, right? And that's what I want to talk about just very briefly. on Romero, maybe linking into Mickey van der Ven, maybe linking into Archie Gray, maybe linking into other players as well within the Spurs group. But leadership comes with responsibility. And when I wrote that title, I had to really think about captains of the past, what they were like. And something came to me, and it was like, once you become a senior figure in the dressing room. Now, I got this from, I was listening to an audiobook one night a couple of months ago. I think it was Steve Perriman. I don't know if it was Steve Perriman or another footballer's. I think it was a podcast. And Steve Perriman was talking about being made Spurs captain very early under Bill Nick, and being a really young man being made Spurs captain. And Bill Nick gave him some advice. He says, once you become one of the senior figures in the dressing room, supporters expect you to set standards, not just play as an individual. And that was the problem with Romero. He never set the standards. He just played as an individual. It was never all about the team for him. It was about himself. You know, you compare him to other captains like Ledley King, like Steve Perriman, like Graham Roberts, like, I don't know, Gary Mabbutt, who else? Robbie Keane, who else? Hugo Lloris, Harry Kane, going back Alan Mullery, to Danny Blanchflower back in the 60s and 70s, going back even further to Bill Nick, even playing as a player and coming as a coach and coming as a manager. They're all led by example. They all set standards that you had to live up to. You look at Roy Keane at Manchester United, he set very high standards. Even for Ireland, he did the same. That's why he walked out in Japan. Now, 2002, when he did that originally, I was very much, how dare you let your country down? How dare you walk out on us on an eve of a World Cup? But as the years have gone on, and as more's come out about what happened in Japan, and you hear what the FAI were up to, and you've seen the film, you read the books, you read the articles, you listen to Roy Keane's side, you listen to Mick McCarthy's side. You have to fall on the Roy Keane side. Fair play to him. He set standards for people that followed him in future Ireland squads to be better, to get a better quality of training facilities, better eating, better this and better that. And he set the examples, he set the standards. And many Spurs captains have set the standards. This is how we play, this is how we commit. Our job is to go out on a Saturday and a Tuesday evening, give 110% to the fans that pay their hard-earned money every week to come and watch us play. And a player asked Bill Nick, what does it mean to play for Tottenham Hotspur? And Bill Nick said one thing. He said, you will come and go. I will come and go. Owners will come and go. The one thing that doesn't come and go is us as supporters. And when you're a captain of our football club, we expect the highest standards of you to be set. And we expect you to give everything for that badge, for that armband, and for that team. Romero never done that. And you could say he'd done it 40% of the time, but 60% of the 40% of the time he'd done it, 60% he didn't do it. And you can't say that about, I don't know, Steve Perriman, who 100% of the time gave everything. Graham Roberts, Paul Miller, Gary Mabbutt, Robbie Keane. You know, even Richarlison, and I'm going to say this right, and I'm going to get criticised for it. Richarlison, for me, may not be the greatest Brazilian player ever, but one thing he does, he loves the club. He gives everything for the club when he plays. And he may not be the greatest player in the world, but you can tell he loves playing for that shirt. I can't say that about Romero. I don't think he ever did. Right, so welcome. Let's see. Big up. So captains are not the same as BITD. Before you went to school, gave speeches, handed out for awards for no monetary reward. That's it. Have to agree, Dermo. I fell in love with Cutie, then steadily the cracks appeared with injuries just before an international break. The fact is he was open to the arseholes. He's dead to me now. Sorry, no, I agree with you. 100% agree with you. Big up, Dermo, everyone in chat. I can find your email, Iceman. Did you send it to the one that's linked in the description? If can you send it to me again? Can you put an attachment to it, and then I might be able to find it. If you can, I'd be grateful. I think he was led astray with a promise in his contract, but get agreement, but it didn't come to fruition. He just lost the plot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you promised. Once you're a player, you're a player. You give 110% for that club. Just because we didn't, you didn't set standards. You were the issue. You were the problem. Why? You were part of the problem. Why we were where we were. As I said, you look at Xavi, wanted to play on with an ACL, wanted to come on back on the pitch. Bergville wanted to stay on. He was told to come off injured. No, I'm not coming off. Archie Gray the same. I'm not coming off. You're injured. No, I'm staying on to help the team. Romero, oh, I'm injured. I'm coming off because I've got a World Cup to play. Glad you didn't win the World Cup. You didn't deserve to win it anyway. I think he led Djed, Mickey, and others down a bad path. I expect he was the instigator. I think he was. QT's a world-class defender as a striker all my life. I would have hated playing against him like when I play. And that's the thing, isn't it? That is the flip side of the coin. He is a world-class defender. And when he played and when he gave it his all, you couldn't wish for a better player in your team. But he didn't do it all the time. And that's the problem, Iceman. That is the problem. I'll never forget him taking out the team, but never forget him taking out a team, huddling in front of the Man U fans. But after we won it, he just went downhill from there. I'd be so glad when he's gone and sends a mega message out about it does. If you're not wanted, you don't want to play for the shirt, you're out of here. Too right and all. We're stepping stone for QC Simple. Yeah, absolutely. Like the chat from the other night, Dermo, he didn't love our club. He fought hard when he was on the pitch, but never loved us. No, that's true. It's worse than yes, I agree. Kudus has said this Tottenham. Kudus has said this Tottenham is stepping stone. He signed a pre-season with the team. If he went down, yeah, exactly. Glad Romero's gone. When we were pumped in the Champions League, I hope he gets really, really hard time. Absolutely. More pin. Yeah, I'm upset Spence gone. I will talk about that tomorrow. It's all opinions, Demo. Just so happens me and you are correct. Yay! Romero, don't let the door hit you on your arse on the way out. I think me and you are going to agree on this as well, David. Big up to you. Hope you're doing. Where is Wayne? Hope you're okay, mate. Yeah, Wayne's gone missing. Where is Wayne? Wayne, where are you? It's not where's Wally. Where's Wayne? Well said, David. Be interested to see if any Romero tapes that exist. Translated, of course, he can hardly speak English. Well, it's never the issue, was it? Go back, Dave Mackay, play with a broken leg, never captain. Yeah, exactly. Broke his leg twice. Don't worry, lads, I'm going to go back out again. That's exactly right, Damo. Richie loves that club, just like the Melody does, despite being injured all the time. Yeah, and he's shit, but he still loves the club. Oh, bless him. Did you get the image? I did, Marco, and I'm going to save them. So, yeah, thank you so much, but I'm going to use them in thumbnails. Dave Mackay was club captain at Spurs. Yeah, he was. Won the FA Cup as well, if my memory serves me right. David walked up them steps and lifted up the FA Cup in 1967. There was another captain that led by example. Maybe the Roy Keane of his day, Dave Mackay, and led Derby to successful as well. Led them to the second division championship. I think I'm right on that. Cheers, Marco. You really are godsend. But listen, guys, that is it. I'm going to bounce out of here. Sorry again for the lateness of the show. But if you can hit a like, hit a subscribe if you can. I have to say, not my best show ever. Been a little bit distracted, but look, it is. That's what happens in life, isn't it? Things come up. Life throws you curveballs and you try to dodge them and you try to catch them. But on that bombshell, I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock with me, Jess, Stacey, and hang on. I don't know. I don't know. Big up, James. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming on or not. I'll wait for a few minutes. Yeah, no, I am. I'm just seeing if James is coming on. Oh, okay. I don't know if he is or not. Anyway, okay. I don't know if he is or not. Anyway, I don't think he is. Anyway, listen, I'll see you tomorrow, guys, at 5. Take care. See you later. Bye.